with these teams trying to claw back some points. Very important for everybody to try and gain some semblance of stability here. Let's take a look at that 1 through 8 though, because that's where the important points lie, as we see. Obviously, the team being victorious there, being Forza, as we will eventually shift over and look at some of these points coming in. There we go. Forza taking that with 512 points. Not quite as far ahead against Rye as you would expect, but overall, those three teams at the very top, very, very close to one another.
I mean, Rye doing a great job here, but I mean, it's not a surprise that 1, 2, 3, these guys really fought for it. I think that all three of these teams earned that position, because you saw Forza didn't get the shack for free. They had to push somebody out of it. Rye went through with 9 total kills. Reciprocity got 10. So this is one of those rare instances where all three of the final teams, I think even the top 4, fought tooth and nail to get to that point.
Exactly. Warren and Scoom and Ali as well on 5 kills. That's very impressive. They got all the kills, and the majority of the kills on their team. Actually with 4 as well. They had 10 in total, remember, so Scoom and Hax really fragging out in that game.
Yeah, I was very, very impressed with just the way that game went. Big damage leaders here, wanted at 864, just far and away ahead of everybody else. Scoom at 667, Hax Eddie right behind that. And then a little bit of a surprise there with retired FPS at 429.
Yeah, he had a few kills, but they had a lot of impact because they were on the southern side where the zone shifted away twice. He was into a lot of fights there, retired from Galatasaray.
And bear in mind, it was Galatasaray that was holding that shack until Forza pushed in. So if they hadn't pushed in, Galatasaray could have been looking at a similar situation for themselves had they had the patience and fortitude to stay in there for the long haul.
I remember, and they pushed in and took them out, and they saved utility. They still had 3 grenades and 2 Molotovs left in that final stage. If Rec had smokes, they might have won that game. If Rye had grenades, they might have won that game. If Rec had 1 grenade, they would have won that game. So it's one of those things where it's like literally
so small.
Exactly. The issue is one utility could have won that for either of those 2 teams.
And I feel like that's maybe because they're dropping plane dependent. They are not 100% sure where all the good loot is. They were looting Alcantara again here, but they didn't send one guy further south. There's a lot of compounds and areas down there further south of Alcantara that is.
Was the difference there? Because 1 grenade, 2 more kills, that puts them at 13.
12.
Even if 12. Sorry, if they don't win, American math. Even if they don't win, they really put themselves up in the top competitor group. So they've shown us that they can play it. Their rotations are working. They come out of a suboptimal rotation and still got that performance.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
And it just shows the potential fluctuations that you see in these lobbies as well when it comes to the skill potential of this lobby. Forza, in the previous game, in game number 3, went out like 16th, 15th. Then off the back of that, first. This shows just how potentially volatile our second lobby can be.
It was. I mean, honestly, when Forza pushed that check, if their opponents had maybe stepped out a second sooner, landed a couple of extra shots, then it would have been a different scenario. In the same way, Reciprocity was on that sort of hilltop outside of for a long time. They fought off Team Ready, who I think was a bit hesitant on their push, and that cost them big time. But coming off of that hilltop and taking the compound that Galatasaray, did I say that correct? Galatasaray was in for the second time, sharing a compound with them. Like, that was a hard push, and they managed to pull it off and get those guys out of that building. So we saw an example of a lot of teams really sort of going through some trials and tribulations to get themselves in that final circle.
I mean, especially when you think about how Reciprocity is approaching these circles. Again, it's very patient, kind of very methodical. They're sending, oftentimes 1 scout forward, leaving the rest on the edge after finding a safe spot.
Yeah, but on top of that, I was kind of surprised to see them being this patient into that stage of the game. With the circle favoring that hard. And again, I think it comes down to that they're dropping plane dependent, and they're very late to the circle because they don't know the rotations. They're not getting enough loot. They thought they were going to get more loot as a four-man group in Alcantara maybe, but really want to see them kind of maybe adapt a new change for tomorrow.
Fair point. Looking at overall from our previous game, of course, another team that actually, we haven't really given much shine to has been Raise Your Edge, who got second in that previous game there. They could have potentially had that grenade gone into the shed, but unfortunately they did not. So what do you think about their chances overall as we are almost ready here to get into our game? And actually, I'm not even going to ask you what their chances are. We can talk about that later on as we can get into our game at number 5. Right now, the plane is in the air. It's Game 5. It's the final game here for Group B. Avenger. It's a middle plane once again.
So it's kind of what we had throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
Not just the other way around, right? We're gonna go from southeast to northwest this time. I wonder where the circuit's gonna be. Is it gonna be southeast again? I would think so. If one of these teams with the tendencies we've had today.
It's almost like Reciprocity's got drop spots anyway, because they've literally been dropping on two sides of the same sort of plane.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want this plane down the middle that accesses the entire map for all of these teams. They can use those north. If you look at the map, it's a north-south map. The way the rotations work, the way the roads are laid out, this kind of plane is optimal. Everyone can use those vehicles to move very quickly to their north-south looting spots and sort of horizontally across the map. So the question again will be, which team uses the flow of those roads and map to maximize the circle? If this ends up being something in the northeast, it could throw our entire ranking into chaos, because we haven't really seen them have to push out through that San Martin, through that Picado Death Valley yet.
All right, it's time for Game 5. It's time for the commentators. It's time for Game 10 of a marathon day here of PUBG action.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a marathon, hasn't it? But it has been damn good. So, final game of the first day. We've seen so much already, and it looks like an early bit of action as well. And the circle, I've seen this game before.
This can't be real.
If I could say, really.
They are, but they're just a bit similar. Fair play to them. So, as you saw the plane coming in for Toporizo, I'm going to be ending directly over the trailer park. Now, no one's going to go that further a distance than the people that have been. Reciprocity, because they like to be the first ones out of the plane, but this time round, it's the complete polar opposite end of the map. Nice plane for Besiktas, obviously running up that eastern coast, that's where they like to go. They like to play the normal game, easy peasy for them, they get all the loot in the world. You move further afield, Los Leones, we form on into it, 3 teams always. I say 3, kind of like 2.5, but generally Galatasaray, they do get involved on those little back fights. At the end of the day, they have to rotate off of the back of this. Okay, we can see them running, all the way down south, and they'll take the western roads and such, but they might be able to play a dividend and maybe take out an M19 player here or there, which again we have seen. Trifle, usual place for him. He always likes to split off from the rest of Accelerate. Now, it does wonders because he can hold them back, he can be the scout, he can pick up vehicles, and also leave the rest of his team just to loot happily up at the opposite side of La Bendita, should I say, so to speak. Generally, it's business as usual. You've seen 4 of these games now, guys. You know where people are going to be going. The question is, how do you rotate? Where do you set up? Where's this circle going to throw things off? So far for rotations, they've been the telling story for some teams, and it's ultimately led to a very early grave. Remember, we kind of said after this, the day is all said and done for these teams. This is the 10th game of the day, but this is Group B, a different one, so it is a fresh 5, so to speak. If you can get yourself in the top 8, if you can finish anywhere around the 1,400 point mark, you've had a good day.
I think that's what a lot of teams will be aiming for. I think you want to try and get that on the board. If you do, you're feeling good about yourselves, and you can go back, watch over the VODs tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, and see how you are. Now, if you are wondering who's leading, if you want to see the leaderboards, the total rankings, it's on your screen. Accelerant, still at the top. Reciprocate. It's not a real word. Stop pretending it's a real word. Riot Gaming, I'm not going to say your name, I'll call you Team Rec, there you go. Riot Gaming. So all the boys are up there, and then Esports is up there, Team Ready. Team Ready have kind of slipped off a little bit, they were well within that kind of top 5, and then kind of fallen off the gas. They had that one real outstanding game. Red Diamond sitting within the top 10, and Moonwolf up there as well. A lot of these teams have been consistent now. Method have kind of sorted themselves out a little bit too, kind of pushing up a touch, but 12th isn't great for them.
No, same with Besiktas, to be honest with you, 11th,
Yeah,
N19, 14th. You don't expect to see this. However, there's a saving grace to this, and I will say this is not over yet. This is one day. There is 15 games in total, and tomorrow we get the start of a wrangle. So, you got to keep your head down, you got to keep plodding along, regardless of what the standings look like. All can change. There has been upsets in the past, and it doesn't matter how you end today, as long as you end strong tomorrow, rolling into the final day of the qualifiers. This, of course, is a group phase, and then we move into 3 days of the grand finals. There can only be 10 teams when all this is said and done, and move on to Pro League, while other teams are falling down to the Contender Series. And then below that, there will, of course, be another amount of competition that allows you to move through, because at the end of the day, this is a life-changing opportunity. Phase 1 of 3 when it comes to the Pro League. That all kicks up in 2019. Exciting times for PUBG Esports ahead. There's obviously another confirmed PGI. We've seen that at the timeline as well. So it's good, it's fun, and it's another big green goal. It did. It didn't mean to.
You could make the rhyme sound good. I zoom! Gonna get something to zoom pretty nicely with. 6 times on that too.
Oh, that's nice.
6 or 8, what do you prefer? I'll throw a 4 in.
I mean, it makes a difference with the 8 because you can obviously de-zoom on them.
What do you prefer?
6.
I might as well use the 8, but the 6 is really my jam.
I like it. I mean, it looks good. I wish there was an option that when you find one, don't have a long-range weapon to beat somebody with it. Because that thing is beefy.
It's a long ball.
You pick up a 15 times. Oh,
I can't
Jack
use
Sparrow
it.
on the
It
back
just
of the boat.
baffles me. I don't get it.
It is weird.
It feels like I'm cheating. You know, I've suddenly got binoculars.
Zoomed in on the faces.
Yeah.
See how many.
Squad. Up they go.
Just a little bit earlier for them, this one, I've got to say. But I'm glad they've got out because we're actually pushing into it. Now, what you're seeing here is almost a mirror image of what we saw in Game 2, I believe it was. We had several teams all loitering around this area. And again, the reason they're doing it is because it's the main road. You're going to expect people to be running off around it because of these cars, these buggies. Why would you opt to go through a bumpy field when you've got a nice flat surface to do it? So we're kind of reading it well and expecting the oncoming players. Everyone's still alive. 7 minutes in and nobody's lost anybody. This might actually be a world record so far for
Why have
this
you said
Group
that?
B.
You good garbage man. Why have you said this?
Just that's an around get the 4v1. We've seen Quick do it. Quick can do it, anybody can. That's BM now.
Yeah, that'd be so toxic. No.
Sorry. Whatever. I like it.
Oh, look at that power slide in the fence. Alright.
If it falls at the end, it would make good. Alright, Lauren.
Yes.
Let's look for some of our teams that are having a bit of a struggle and see where they are. But Besiktas have got a really good rotation here. They've got themselves directly instead of the circle. Near enough, it's nice. Little compound that I've given some ground. The Sauna boys. Sauna are already smack bang in the middle.
Of course they are.
Method of spread. They're going to that power grid. It is. So the same place before, but there's 2 teams lingering on the edge. In fact, where they were in the previous one, they came the kids up from the school or something. The
soccer
haircut.
one.
That's the one.
Yeah. I just want to talk to the manager in the restaurant. I need to go and pick my kids up from school. I've only been day drinking. It's fine. 16 teams, 63 players. Flack is down. And we are seeing Rank taking the world's longest rotate. Which was it the Korean teams that were doing that at PGI?
Yep.
Is this it? Scum sat there and gone, how's it done?
I'll tell you how he lost. He had a car roll into him. They've already crouched under the tree. As Mosey would say, the sack of potatoes landed on him. It's funny because it happened on air.
Can you tell that it's 11 o'clock? Interesting much, by the way. PUBG community, you are actually pretty cool. Pretty cool up.
I see the NA boys tuning in as well.
Yeah. Good morning, afternoon in America.
Just in a weird time zone.
Yeah, we're confused.
Simsy.
Speaking of confusion, Simsy gonna just stop that scouting right where it was. None of that's gonna be happening towards him. And Rex still in the blue, having a whale of a time. They'll be out of it soon, they're fine. They're just taking the world's longest rotating. I don't know. Shit. Love driving. There aren't that many meds though, look at that. They're actually kind of light on.
I suppose there is a counter argument when you could say that when you play in a strat of alternate loot spots, that you're not going to have your constant loot directions, as in, you know, your teams that go to the same place, they know they can loot buildings and areas super quick, super fast. They can get completely geared up. So that might be a downfall of doing this strategy, so to speak, what they're doing. They will come in, they're out of the blue now, all about. Method is staying in the same place before now, but Method is an interesting one. Because before they opted to move, the circle didn't go their way from power grid, they left the vehicles behind, and then they just got battered on arrival.
Yeah.
Will they wait out the circle again, or will they use the vehicles and move forward? I tell you who's using something though.
Oh, the arm.
It's the long-range shot. And he is...
He wasted
dead.
2 smokes. I take joy in the smallest things. Just knowing that someone just wasted 2 smokes